Mr. Chairman, let me thank the Secretary for being here, but I must say that after nearly 3 hours, here's my takeaways. This administration is increasingly not transparent. It's not transparent as to what takes place at these summits. It's not transparent in terms of I hear that there's an effort not to have readouts when the President has conversations with foreign leaders, which has historically been the case. There's increasing less number of briefings. We haven't still had a briefing on North Korea in a classified setting nearly 2 months afterwards. So what I took away is that as it relates to North Korea, we have no agreements on anything. The best I can glean is that they understand what we mean by denuclearization, but they have not agreed to that definition. I really don't believe, Mr. Secretary, you know what happened during the President's 2+ hour conversation with President Putin, and I really don't know much more about the summit after sitting here for 3 hours than I did before. I want to say to you, I want you to think about the suggestion that what the President says is not the policy of the United States. When the President speaks,
can I clean that up, Senator? You're right. I misspoke.
If you want to clean it up, because
I'd love to.
when he speaks, that is the policy of the United States.
I'd love to, Senator.
Yeah.
I'd love the chance to do that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I misspoke. It is the
Okay.
case.
Right.
The President calls the ball. His statements are, in fact, policy. But it's the case that when all of us speak, in informal settings in response to questions, we're not covering the full gamut of things that impact the world. That's what I intended to say. I saw the glee on your side, walking away, trying to make a political point from that. That's silliness. This President runs this government. His statements are, in fact, U.S. policy.
So now we understand that when the President speaks, it is the policy of the United States.
Senator, you've seen these policies. 200+ sanctions. You've seen them, Senator.
I'm not asking you a question, Mr.
Senator,
Secretary.
I understand. I've now been here 3 hours, and you've got a political soliloquy.
No, you know what? I've listened to your political soliloquy as a Secretary of State sitting at that table, demeaning some members here because you said that Senator Shaheen believes more in the Russian Defense Ministry. She was quoting them only because we don't know what our own government is saying. So please don't talk to me about politics. Want to talk about politics? If President Obama did what President Trump did in Helsinki, I'd be peeling you off the Capitol ceiling. Please. So here's the point. When the President speaks, it is the policy of the United States. And so when he says, in one respect, I applaud this declaration about Crimea, but then he goes and says that Russia should join the G7. Well, the reason Russia's not in the G7 is because they invaded Ukraine. So which is the policy? Because when the President speaks, it is the policy. And I must say, sir, when you speak around the world, people believe that what you say is a reflection of the policy of the United States. So I want to close by saying one thing I heard here today that I can agree with you is that we need more sanctions, and I look forward to working with the Chairman, Senator Graham, and others who are interested in this regard. Hopefully we can come together in common cause to push back on Russia on sanctions that we can pursue. And secondly, I want to reiterate, I believe that it is rightful for the members of this committee, even if it's in a classified setting, to speak to the translator and or to see her notes, because that's the only way we will know what truly transpired.
Would you like to give any response?
Not a word.